Hello, 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 hello. Everyone, what is going on? James here, and
There
that
we
was
go. I was waiting for it.
a pretty bad taste joke from me. That doesn't set expectations very well of a more serious podcast. But yeah, here we
Yes.
are. Myself, the man, the myth, the legend, GC.
Yes, this is a podcast based around me,
Well,
which is a change.
yeah, not just you, obviously. Everyone who has stammers.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we actually did do a stammer awareness podcast over 100 episodes now. I think it was like something like episode 60 or 59 or 61. I'm very unsure, but we did do a stammer awareness one
Yeah.
ages ago. And it's always good to do like not the podcast back then. It wasn't really that good quality, like the way it was recorded. Like it was just bad audio and a picture. So a lot of those old podcasts,
You didn't see
I
face
like
to
to.
face talking, did you?
Yeah, exactly. You couldn't see people talking. It was just a blank picture, and the mics weren't. Well, the sound quality wasn't very good. And it's like the Halo one. We redid that recently, well, months ago. Uh,
Yeah.
me and me and Liam
And
talked
the
about three Halo games.
interviews with me and Liam as well.
Pardon? Oh yeah. Well, I just realised what you said. Yeah. The one with you and Liam. The thing is, I want to do them every 2 years anyway, just as like a little update, asking you questions like what is DW Boy 14 content now? What is TGC content now? Because over 2 years, it's such a long period of time. Unless you've had a massive hiatus,
Yeah,
your
that's a good
content
idea.
changes, isn't it? So I think even if the
Yeah, yeah.
podcast was True Geordie quality or JRE quality back then, I still enjoy doing podcasts with you and Liam every 2 years, just an episode called DW or an episode called TGC. But the only way I wouldn't enjoy that is if I don't know if you stopped doing videos and there'd be nothing to talk about on those podcasts, unless it was just a friendly conversation, I suppose, for 2 hours.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, as you can tell by the title, this is the stuttering discussion. So, a few
Yeah.
questions for George in regards to stammering and stuttering. Obviously, I just want to go off the bat that I've known George for years, and the stammer was considerably. I don't want to say worse because I don't want to act like stammers are good or bad or anything, but
But
you
it,
stammered.
no, but it was worse.
Yeah,
It's okay saying things up because it can go from bad to worse or good. But
yeah,
it can get from bad to worse, like bad to good, or vice versa. With it being good when you're younger, but when you
yeah,
get older with more stress and things like that, it can get worse as well.
and vice versa. Like I reckon, when you're young, you might have an issue stammering, but then when you get older, you might learn to deal with it and find the coping
Yeah, yeah,
mechanism.
definitely.
I think it's just down to the person's luck and their situation and just their genetics and what have you. But
And
yeah,
definitely for
obviously,
the
okay.
right
I
treatment
guess
as well,
you
which we'll
giving
get
me.
into.
I was just going to say, are you giving me permission to say that it was worse? So it was worse years ago. There was a lot more because I was listening to a voice message from ages ago, and I think I watched some old videos we did a few years ago, and it was, bro, like if you listen to yourself talk on the podcast, there's a lot of, you're talking, and there is occasionally a it or a stutter, but like back then
Yeah.
it was a lot more. And obviously hanging around with you a lot at school, you never noticed, but
Mm.
there was a shit ton of in
Yeah,
between a
yeah.
lot of things that are being said. A lot of, and it obviously isn't the traditional stutter that people expect when you say stammering. A traditional stammer is like or that's all,
Mhm.
folks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or
well, there's four different kinds, and even I
yeah,
didn't know that.
I thought there was only two. I thought there was I thought yours was like one that not many people have, and then the other one is just and then maybe
Yeah,
you
well, you
can say
can get
like,
the E's uh, the actual like eyes.
mm-hmm,
You can get stuck as well. Like if you're trying to say a word and it gets stuck on like a W, and you get the like that.
oh yeah,
That's another
that's a
one.
good point. I never
And
thought of
then
that.
there's uh, like if you're saying something with an S, it's like that. So there's quite a few different ones.
Yeah. I mean, the when you say the same word over and over again, I think that's definitely the most frustrating one, because being stuck on it, sure, that's a bit annoying, but it's not too bad. And making noises like it,
No, it isn't as bad as like you're getting stuck.
well, if you're saying the same word over and over again, like why, it's sort of like it just must be really frustrating. I know there was one bloke who was really angry on the phone at work, basically over pretty much not really that much, but it's. I can't go into detail, but yeah, he was basically angry over some minor things, and he kept going. He was like a Welsh guy, and he was like, well, I can't, believe what you've done. This is, and it wasn't. It sounded like he was faking it. He was saying the word so many times in an aggressive way. I nearly started laughing. I don't like laughing at people's issues, but he was so angry and stuttering at the same time. I was thinking, God, you've picked a shit time to be angry.
It can get like that when you're really overworked and things like that.
No, the bloke wasn't overworked. Well, I guess I don't know if he was overworked or not, because it was just over.
Well, I mean, over. What would you call it? Worked up, basically.
When you did that thing that I wanted to say on a story, but we'll say for another time, that one bloke went into your face, didn't he? And he went, You're an idiot. You remember?
Yes, he was doing it quite a bit. I think his was a little bit worse than mine.
Well, with that specific guy, he used to put his hand on his head sometimes and go like this. So
yeah, kind of look like a bit of a DJ.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. This is meant to be a serious one.
Well,
you need it.
I know I'm allowed to make these jokes.
Sorry.
I'll get in trouble.
Oh, God. Bloody hell. Oh, sorry, you were saying.
No. And I go ahead. I'm still happy about it.
Oh, so that guy was obviously going in your face, raging, basically over. I mean, it was a bit bad, but the situation, it was.
Yeah, if it was explained, it would be quite bad.
It sort of risked a person's teaching license. It risked their.
It's not as bad as a TikTok guy that I've been seeing at the moment.
What did he do?
Which is safe for the news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, what you did was obviously well. Again, we'll say it for the summer special, but it was a bit. It was bad. If it was some fart like some idiot who you didn't like, then I guess it would be kind of funny.
No.
I guess you sort of didn't like the karate trainer in some aspects, and in the end, I wasn't really much of a fan of him for certain reasons. He sort of, I don't know, just a bit, just certain things.
I think it was more the place I did the joke at.
Oh, yeah, it was a school. Yeah, well, yeah, it's the karate trainer's own fault for not having a dojo. There you go. But obviously, it was a part-time.
Yeah, why not get your own dojo?
But obviously, because it was a part-time job and the rates were so cheap, it would have been quite hard to do that.
Yeah.
But
just when other members of that karate pissed on the floor, he didn't have to really clean it up.
George, come on, have a bit of respect. It was a child who pissed on the floor. He wasn't some grown man.
Yes. But I just said he was a grown man.
No, but you should have a bit of respect if it's just some kid.
Well, no.
Wow, laughing at a kid, George. Maybe.
I'm sorry, but why didn't you laugh at the older guy stabbing before?
No, come on. There's a difference. No, there's a difference. No. There's something more comedic about some bloke going, oh, and then going mad at George, going, you idiot, you idiot, you idiot, you idiot. And then George, I wasn't there for it, sadly, but from what I heard, he was like, you're a fucking idiot. And then George is like, ah. And then, come on, some kid pissing himself. He can't help it while some grown man going, oh, sorry, going, oh, you know, and George, ah, that's a lot more funny. Oh.
I feel like they're going to get us cancelled.
What do you mean? Oh,
God.
No.
I think if it was other situations, if we talk about other, not disabilities, other people with another frame of mind.
What are you on about? I'm a bit worried now.
Well, if you think in a different frame of mind.
What?
Oh, what? Oh, what? No, I just put it in chat. But I put the wrong thing on.
No, George is putting Transformers. I don't know what the hell that's all about.
James, get rid of the formers. I think you know what I mean.
Come on.
But moving on. So basically,
no. I'm not trying to get us cancelled or anything. But what's the difference between a bloke going and then a transgender man or woman going you know, I don't really, in the interest of fairness, we should just be joking at people equally, shouldn't we? So there you go.
Yeah, we should do, but it didn't work like that in 2023.
Well, anyway, back to the 4 stutters. Saying the same word again seems like the most frustrating. And then obviously making the noises with the letters, that's probably the least frustrating. And your E's and you know, they're somewhere in the middle, aren't they? I'd say.
Oh yeah. It can be frustrating for like any person with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if there's that video still up somewhere, but there's a guy who couldn't get any words out at all. I don't know if you can look it up. Look, if you just put in on the internet, like word stammer or something like that on YouTube. But he can't get anything out at all.
Where is it? All right, we've got worst stutter in the world. All right, let's get it on then.
Professional basketball player. What teams have you played for, Eric?
Well, my first year, I played in.
James, you put the wrong one on.
Eric is now stuck on the letter M.
What happened, George?
Did you not just see that?
Yeah, it's the fight going.
Eric is now stuck.
God damn it. I knew when I saw his face. Oh, that's the guy who got from the meme. Surely James hasn't put the actual meme in it.
I just looked at worst stutter in the world. Oh, that's all I bloody did.
Eric is.
Oh God, they just ruined the podcast.
For 15 minutes.
This has no chance of being serious anymore. Oh, we might as well just watch Liam's bloody video.
I'll show George where the 5 goals are. 4 goals.
I look forward to it. Is this one from today?
Huh?
Is this one from today?
Oh yeah. Hold on. The best bit.
Yeah, I haven't watched this one yet.
And as I was scoring it,
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. Oh.
James, what were you saying about 5 goals?
Now that was bollocks on your.
You-
Yes!
Exactly what were you saying?
Sorry, it went right past me. I nearly stopped it as well.
Only them.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. There we go.
We Don't I
Oh,
score again that one to make it more even.
no, my arse. You were saying, what were you saying as I was scoring it?
That's the best thing about it, because you were, what were you saying about the 5 goals, James? And I'm like, yes. Well, and then I was trying to respond and defend myself while I was scoring the
video now.
while I was scoring the goal. I was trying to say, no, well, that was oh. So that meme was obviously the worst example. I thought it was going to be a genuine bad stutter, but instead it was a bloody joke video.
Yes, you put the wrong one on. If you get the main page up, I can show you which one it is.
Is it the bloke from the 1960s?
I don't know. Just show me. I'll point you to the right one.
With much struggle and tension. We'll see.
No, that's not him.
We'll see him, McCabe. How old are you, Peter?
I'm 22.
And where are you from?
From Hermosa Beach, California.
I see.
Well, what video is it then?
Don't you go find himself and send you the link?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, okay.
Well, watch the video. Then I got a few. Then I got a few questions for Mr. GC. Yeah, I mean, something interesting that I wanted to bring up was that the thing is with George's stutter. What's mad when filming the Doctor Who series? We filmed 5 episodes. Obviously, only 4 of them are out at the moment. But the thing is, George's stutter seems like the least worst. For a lot of the, pretty much all of the filming, it seemed non-existent. So I don't know if it's a case of George like sort of feeling so determined to play the Doctor and just not stutter and just be completely focused and zoned in, and or it could be a case of him just having a great fun time, couldn't it? Really, it could be a case of him being the least stressed he's ever is and feeling the most like happy recording this stuff and just feeling like very high getting this stuff recorded and out there. Maybe that could be a contributing factor. I'm not sure. But it's interesting that you think acting and making a film, that would be something that, you know, makes you have to like graft, and you think to yourself, bloody hell, how am I going to like get this done? We've got a lot to record. But for George, it's probably the least I've heard him stutter. And on the podcast as well, he stutter. If you listen to older episodes, George is stuttering a lot more. But on probably, I don't know, we did a shit ton of podcasts in 2020, so probably from then onwards, the stutterers not been anywhere near as bad. So that's a big fair play to GC. I don't know what the hell he's doing at the moment, but yeah, I might as well just waffle on a bit longer. I'm just trying to find the questions. I might as well just answer some of them myself. Well, actually, no, I meant for George. But how does stammers affect your life? So I guess an answer for that would be with people stuttering. I suppose if you're trying to get your point across to someone and you're stuttering, it's easier for them to sort of interrupt you, because if you're going, they can just sort of shoot in the discussion, whether that it's a serious discussion or a not serious discussion or just bants or any sort of discussion. If you're going, it maybe like someone might just swoop in, or they could get disengaged from the conversation. So it affects you because you're trying to get your point across and you're not getting it across as quick and as efficiently as you prefer to. And the other person, they might be disengaged because you keep going, or they might interrupt you because of that. You know, they think, oh, it's a pause. Let's interrupt it. Obviously, that isn't the way to go about things. You should just give people with stammers sort of room to breathe. Don't just interrupt them. You know, I mean, years ago when me and George and the squad went drinking with this one geezer we don't drink with anymore, whenever him and George are getting arguments or debates, he'd go ah like that, and it's sort of like it's so pathetic. Like even if you are annoyed at someone, you've got to let them get their points across instead of just mocking the stammer, because it just, even if you're in the right with the discussion, it just makes you look like an absolute tosser and a twat, really, being that mean and disrespectful to someone's, speech issue. Yeah. So I guess the only benefit it can sort of have, in my opinion, I don't know, it sort of like lets you, maybe you can think things through better, or you can sort of stammer over the top of people and go, I, when you're talking. And George is back. Hello, George.
Yeah, I got it. Hang on. I'm just gonna send you the link for me now.
Thank you very
I couldn't
much.
find the exact one, but I found a one of talking about it basically. But yeah, I'll talk about the different things that you can do to help it or not help it and things like that. Because I know when I was younger, I think I've told you about this when I had days off from school, or
Very rare
it was on a
off.
weekend or something like that.
Ah.
Sorry?
I said it was very rare that you were off school, though.
Yeah, it was very rare, but like once a year or around that, I'd go to a hospital up by where our big shopping centre is.
Okay.
And so I'd go up there once a year and meet with a group of about 10 people with stammers. And they'd have some people there to try and help you with the stammer. But it wasn't really about the speech or anything like that. It was more getting you used to talking around the people who you were doing the day with, which I think could be okay in some people, others not really. And it didn't help me that much, I have to say. But then I know I've seen there's
George,
a program.
George, sorry to interrupt. Was that the thing that me and someone else referred to as the Stammer Convention?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I genuinely thought it was a big get together, like in Birmingham or some other city.
That's not James being offensive for people watching. That's not James being offensive.
No, yeah, I genuinely thought it was the way you put it across. I thought it was like a Stammer Convention. I didn't realise it was just 10. I thought there was like hundreds of people there.
No, there's like 10, but there's somebody who James is referring to who called it that. So James just relayed what he thought. But I know there was like with me hearing as well. There was what you could call conventions, because you'd meet up with about 50 odd people and go to like an RAF museum to look at their planes and things like that. I know there was a place where for the hard of hearing, where you basically went and did a load of sports and things like that. And that was quite a big place. Don't know if they still do it, but there's a lot of places for like hard of hearing and things like that, but not a lot of places for people to meet with stutters or stammers, or what I like to call them is stammers, because Americans just say stutter. It doesn't really fit me. Basically, I like saying stammer more.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of places you can go and meet people like it. So like there's a TV program I saw years ago, and where you went down to London for a week. You didn't talk at all, so you weren't allowed to talk to anybody there for a week. Then on your last day, you won't go and speak to people in public. Now, I can't see how that would help at all. To me, that would make it worse. Because you'd have that build-up of that way, knowing what you're going to do, that build-up of anxiety and stress. And when you finally do speak for the first time to people in public, it's obviously going to make it worse. Well,
Yeah, I mean,
well,
but didn't it work for your
for
family
me,
though?
no, this is a completely different thing.
Oh, okay.
They basically saw what I'm doing now and seeing an actual therapist who deals in stammers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one who gave me the idea to do this podcast and to tell you.
Don't send it to
about
him. Don't send it. Ah,
But no, I'm not. I don't think it was really. I don't think he was going to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Even if he wanted to, after the little mishap you've had earlier with that minion, I don't think I don't think he wanted, but he doesn't have a stammer.
That's really wholesome. 100. That he'd help people out there.
He didn't have one, but he wanted to help people basically.
What a G.
And so yeah. So I'll go to the one I'm doing. Being that we're talking about it, I see him every 2 weeks. I go up to the hospital where he's at, and we sit from about half an hour to an hour, going over different techniques and things like that, like ones that I didn't even think of doing, and that's adding a fake stammer into my speech, so it doesn't put the strain on my lungs when I'm talking to somebody. So it gets me in that in between area where I'm more comfortable to speak like it, basically, which is quite nice to have that. And it'll give you like relaxing techniques like how like to relax your body so you can actually feel like you got stuff out off your chest and you can actually go and have a better time speaking to people. Like I know for me, I always get a tightness in my chest when I speak, so it's just nice to talk and basically get things off your chest and things like that. So yeah. So if I was going to recommend any of the ones I've mentioned, like having that one where we don't speak for a week or doing that meetup with other people or have stammer. Now, with that one, I'd say do it if it's the right one, if they're actually going to focus on techniques and things like that, which these people didn't at the place I went to. But if you can, if you live in the UK, you can go to your doctor and get a referral for wanting to have one, and they will set you up and meet you in person, basically, which is quite nice to have that. So if you do have a stammer, go and do what I've just said because it could help you quite a bit. Look, yeah, it has been helping me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. That all makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing I was going to say then, obviously doing the podcast, I think might have helped you stammer, maybe making videos has, because the thing is, especially with the podcast being live, you're sort of forced to talk, because this isn't an edited podcast. You're forced to fill in the gaps as much as possible, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I've just got some questions. So obviously, so what sort of situations does it come on the most and the least then?
A lot of people say in interviews
Okay.
because of that pressure. But to me, I don't have that a lot in actual interviews. Like when I had them, and I feel like I talk quite clearly. I do mention to them as well. I do have a stammer, so if I
And then the interviewer says, "Oh, we just thought you were cold. We were just going to turn the temperature up." Sorry.
Yeah, I think they'd be in a bit of trouble to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, so going to a deaf person at the interview. Can you speak up a bit, mate? We can't hear you that well.
Mm.
But I can make that joke as well because I'm different with you
Yeah,
as well. Also, I will say that this actually talking to the therapist and things like that. The hearing would affect me as well because being I can only hear out of that one. So it's hard for me to hear and hard for me to speak to people. So like in Wales, it makes it hard. But when it comes to places that make it difficult for me, I find it a little bit difficult on the podcast sometimes when we got quite a few people on. So I'm ready to say something, and somebody else says I have to basically re-prep myself to talk.
Yeah.
And the way I'll do that is breathe in and say my sentence. Halfway through the sentence, breathe in again and finish it off, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so you don't run out of breath.
Yeah. You know, I was mentioning situations earlier when you were left to get the video. I was saying about how, you know, when we film the Doctor Who series, it seems like your stammer is like not non-existent, but it seems to rarely happen. So, do you reckon when you're doing shit like that, like what when you do make because making a film stressful? So, like, well, not stressful, but like it's difficult. You know, especially a shoestring budget. We can only really film it between like what 10 and 4, 11 and 4. So we got to make a shoestring budget Doctor Who film in 5 hours, less sometimes. So
Yeah.
Stressful. How do you avoid stammering when you're playing the Doctor?
Well, I think it's because I know this might sound weird, but I'm not me. I'm not playing me. I get to focus on somebody else. And when you're playing the Doctor's meant to be confident and smooth, and basically have tricks up his sleeve. So being cool, calm, and collected is the game you're trying to play, basically. And as well, it's because I'm concentrating, and when I'm concentrating, like I am now, I don't stammer that much.
Yeah.
So like, I can be quick on pace and talk and be okay with talking, basically. And so I can go with some scenes and do it okay. That's why sometimes when we do it, I do start stammering a bit. I do like to redo that scene because I know I can get that better because I'm in my element at that time. I know what I need to do and what I need to say, basically. Yeah.
Fair enough. You know, in situations, because I mentioned earlier when you was trying to find that video how we used to drink with someone who was just a bit of a pleb and an idiot, and when you and him are getting heated debates, he start going, you know, and
Yeah.
there wouldn't be any sort of funny joke. It was just being a blatant tit. How do you sort of deal with those sort of people who are just being complete plebs and using it as an insult?
Well, it can happen to anyone. This can happen with like a friend who's not being nice. It can happen with like this time a family member, which I don't mind saying who it was. Being a family member, and I haven't got along with this family member ever really. So when he did it, it didn't really affect me because I knew what he was trying to do. I knew he was trying to get under my skin and take the mick. And you think, you're doing this and I'm not going to let you affect me, basically. And you think, yeah, I've got this. But I think a lot of people who have stammers, they can deal with having one. But I know when it comes to people like that, they just try and find weaknesses in you. So if you don't let them get to that weakness, if you take it in your stride, and that I've got this, and I can, and I may stammer, but I can deal with it. When you're insecure, you can't do anything with your life except for be a mean person. I know I've told James that this person this year has been on like a reality check because he's been acting a bit nicer, but even when he's tried to do this, one mention of me nearly made him slip up in front of the whole family to make him look a bit of an idiot. So when it comes to it, I think, yeah, I've got this. So what? And that's what people should say. If somebody is trying to take the mick out of it and trying to offend you or get you upset about it, you take what you've got in your stride and you think, yeah, I've got this and I can deal with it. And I will keep it under control. And that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Well said, very well said, right there. Taking shit in your stride. And at the end of the day, you know, I can, as a witness to those debates, I can assure anyone who's watching this, George took it all in his stride whenever this dude. The thing is, obviously, it wasn't just you he'd say shit to. Like, if I came with a good point to some of his nonsense, he'd just say, retarded, and it's like, come on, man, you know, like you have to come up with an actual answer. Don't just say retarded to everything. And what else did
you can't.
There was some other decent point I was going to bring up about his daftness. He basically, like, whenever he gets sort of outwitted, he sort of just goes to insults on people. And if he can't come up with anything, he just says, retarded. But, I was going to say, he can't pronounce his R's that well. So you'd think having a speech issue himself, he'd... Wait! You'd think he'd actually be a bit respectful. But he's not. He's just... He was disrespectful to your stammer loads.
Yeah, like, he does do Twitch streams, and he... when you compare him to on there and in real life, he's a different person. He tries to act all nice and good on his own thing, which I think a lot of people do. I think when it comes to a lot of like streamers or like VTubers and things like that, who don't really show their face a lot. They'll act nice on stream, but behind the scenes, they're not nice people, basically.
For sure. I mean, the thing is with that guy as well, on his YouTube, he used to act fake on his YouTube, and I thought to myself, man, if he ever streams, he won't be able to pull this off for 6 hours. And for somehow, on every stream, he still pulls off this act as such a fake nice guy, and I'm thinking, sod me. I guess he's pulled off the fakeness. But the thing is, I feel like he'd become so much more popular if he actually acted like himself and actually put his real self out there. Because that's what people can relate to more. There are some people who enjoy having this fantasy that these overly nice people, that's the way they actually are. That's not the case. The real nice people act like themselves. And it ain't about being nice necessarily. It's about being a good person. And the thing is, if you look at that guy's Discord and look at some of the things he says and does and dig deep, he might act like a nice guy, but he's definitely not a good person. I'm not going to say what I know about his Discord. But,
and people do fall for it. I was telling you, because I know him more than I want to know him, that he met somebody and who's basically fell for this nice guy act he's been putting on, where underneath he's rotten to the core, basically.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I was just in chat. Do you think? I think it might be worth maybe mentioning something that he has done, because we haven't mentioned his name.
No, because that thing I put in chat, it's not a baseless claim, but we have no proof.
Yeah. No, but let's just say
no. It's a very Georgia. We don't have any proof for it, but he has.
No,
the person who told me, I'm
let's just say
that he's done this
he hasn't,
for his viewers.
He hasn't been honest to a lot of people.
Yeah. He has done
some nasty things to some innocent people.
Well, he's conned some of his fans who are a bit vulnerable. That's the best. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
I'm not going to say like any specifics. It's just what I've heard off someone. And he didn't.
All I can say is, in all aspects, he's a bit of a con artist.
Yeah, like taking advantage of, well, basically sort of manipulating certain people.
Yeah. Have you got any more questions for me?
Of course, a few more. Yeah, let's forget about that guy. Better off in the past.
Yeah.
So, coping mechanisms. The floor is yours.
Oh. That's a hard one, because it's different for a lot of people. Let me just say, have a think for a second, actually. So, basically, some coping mechanisms that people do have is avoidance. So, like, if they go to a shop or something like that, they might want something from that said shop, but can be too scared or too anxious to go up and talk to the person at the checkout, in fear that they don't understand them and might get a bit annoyed with them. And 90% of the time, they're gonna understand that you have one, because it's such a well-known thing nowadays. Not as well known as like hearing loss or blindness, but it's. I think a lot of people are talking about it more than they have it in the past. So yeah, I think that's quite a big one that people just avoid, or maybe have somebody else go and talk to them, to go talk to a cashier for them and things like that. and like seeing people you know in public, which you used to know, avoiding them as well. So yeah, avoidance, I say, is the biggest one. James, you still here?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm still here. I just had my mic on mute for that part. Yeah, I mean, it does make sort of sense because, you know, they're probably dealing with their stammer all the time with their job and their family. They might think, if I can avoid a situation where I buy something or avoid a situation where I just talk to some random person in general where I don't have to talk to this person, I guess it makes some sense. Next question. Advice for people with stutters.
Advice for people is go to your doctors. If you live in the UK, you've got the NHS, and get a referral for a stammer therapist, and start doing that because it will help improve you a lot. So that's my big main thing is get one.
Yeah. So what do you think of stuttering in comedy? Like if someone says, I don't know, like in South Park when Jimmy went cunt, country.
Now when it comes to like Jimmy from South Park, and he's got his one, I find it funny because you know, like South Park, they like to take offend people, but it's not in a horrible way. It's literally is in a joking way.
Definitely.
And it's not to take the mick really. It's just a bit of fun. That's why, like when they did one on the Prince and Princess of England, and they made that episode on them. They will probably make another episode because of how they reacted and moaned about it and things about it like that. But I think if it's going to do sorry, I'm just trying to think what I was going to say. If it's going to be put in comedy, it needs to be done right. It needs to be right time, and it needs to be funny. It's not just plain offensive. It needs to have that joke in it.
I'm loving it. No, George. The most plain George. Some of this edgy stuff you say in the chat and post is just plain offensive. And you say, "Don't be plain offensive, be funny." And then all of us are like, "George, what have you done?"
Well, what I put is funny. You guys are just too soft.
It's not
soft
George.
Come
on. When we've all got a straight face.
See, I'm joking about it, so it's fine.
Oh yeah, you're joking about the jokes being funny.
Yes, there we go.
No. There you go. I need you to do the.
But,
I need to do the.
I'm not. But when I do it in chat, I am making a joke of it. I know sometimes, like you put something in chat the other day about certain groups going around doing nasty stuff, and I was quite serious in chat.
Yeah.
Now things like that, what they did is horrible, and so not really to joke about, but like you can. I think you can make jokes towards religion, sex, gender, disabilities, if it's done right.
Yeah,
And
but
if
that's
it-
not the world we live in anymore, I'm afraid. I think, like, if you went to
Well-
other countries, like, you know, Matt Walsh went to Africa and said, like, to these people, he was like, can a woman have a penis? And they were like, what are you on about? You know? And I reckon if you went to a lot of the world, they'd be like, are you mad? You know? But then, obviously, in the West, you know, pretty much everyone's got to say yes, or they're the worst person ever. There's no discussion to be had, you know, which is sad.
You can't have your own mind nowadays.
Yeah.
You have to follow what everybody else says.
Yeah, exactly. And if you
Basically.
don't, you're labelled as a bad person, which is wrong. I think as long as you're not actively doing anything bad or harassing people, I think there should just be open discussions, and you should just say, I feel this way about this thing, I feel this way about this thing, agree to disagree and move on with our lives, rather than hounding someone just for having an opinion that the loudest people deem bad is the worst thing ever, you know.
Yes, you're right.
But yeah, I think, like, look at the In-Betweeners, look at all the things they joke about, you know. That wouldn't be allowed now.
Yeah.
Everyone would be going
Look at
ballistic.
South Park. Look at Starving Marvin from South Park.
All I'll say with South Park, right, that's the only show left that pushes the boundaries a lot in an intelligent way. You know.
Yes.
I'm sure Family Guy
and it's still well and funny.
Yeah. I'm sure Family Guy still pushes the boundaries, but like it's nowhere near as funny. That's the problem.
Not really.
Oh, they're quite safe now then.
Yeah, it's being quite safe, and it's a bit.
No. I mean, bro, Rick and Morty, they used to be like kind of fun years ago, but in the most recent season I watched ages ago, not the most recent one, but the one before, I think it was series 4, they were like making incest jokes, and it was like, what? This isn't funny, this is gross.
Well, and being what happened to the voice of Rick and Morty as well.
No, he got found in innocent.
And those messages that came
I just
out.
want to say he was cleared of the charges. He was. Georgie was.
The messages. Have you not seen all the messages that came out?
Royland. He was cleared.
He was fired.
Yeah, he was fired, but he was cleared of all charges nonetheless.
What's it saying?
I'm getting it up for you. And George,
But
you know
it might have been
Guardian
clear, but their messages are awful.
Look. Hold on. Cleared of domestic violence charges, and you know how the Guardian is, if they can jump on someone and say that they're bad.
Oh no, not the domestic charges. No, the messages he was sending to young teenagers.
Justin Roiland DMs then. Justin Roiland DMs.
Or go on images and see if you can actually look at the DMs.
Oh. Sorry at the airport. It's been a minute. What the hell?
Yeah, you see them. Trying to get them up on the screen so you don't have to read them out.
Okay, well, I guess that is pretty fucked up. Yeah, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is mental. This is, but obviously, all this stuff isn't really biggie. But this is where it's like, what are you?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say that out loud. Then God.
Why would I say you effing stupid? Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
No, I know you wouldn't. Is it when you started reading out the sentence?
What the?
Yeah, that's normal.
What are you? I mean, the thing is, right, this one, if he was really, he could say, oh, I was just being edgy. It's very, very worrying and strange sending that to a minor. But he could just say, oh, I'm just being an edgelord. Like, he could play that off if he really wanted to and apologise. But this is absolute... What? I don't even know.
What about the other two?
What are the messages? Oh, was
Well,
there
there's
one?
4 messages
Oh, yeah, there
on
was.
that Twitter bit then.
Oh, yeah, there was 2 of the messages. Yeah, I mean, there are other Justin Roiland things, but I guess maybe discuss it on another podcast. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's a discussion for another time. But he says, "Why are you? This is even worse.
Yeah.
This is way worse. Goodness gracious! What?" Thing is, he was famous at this point. Like, he was famous, so why? It's evil to do this shit anyway. But like, as a famous person, the whole world's going to know about it. Well, if you're not famous, you're just going to get thrown behind bars, and people around you will know it, unless you do something next level.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, it's like he's famous. Why is he ruining his position like this as well? It's morally fucking disgusting and wrong anyway. So fuck that guy. Yeah, you're right, George.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's look at celebrities with stutters then. We said stutters in comedy, and then we'll move on to the segments.
So you got Marilyn Monroe, who had one. And then the last king, which was Queen Elizabeth II's father, King George VI, I think it is. They've both had stammers. If you know what the King's Speech is, the movie, yeah.
Look at all these confident speakers, though. That's the thing.
Oh yeah, Elvis, yeah.
Emily Blunt, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, confident AF people, Tiger Woods,
Yeah.
AF, James Earl Jones, absolute utter Chad King, legend. I mean,
yeah.
Ed Sheeran, obviously, he's nowhere near as cool as most of these people, but you know, a bloke who goes up and sings, fair play.
Winston Churchill as well.
Yeah.
Atkinson.
Yeah, legends of the game. Unbelievable. Harvey Keitel, he's really confident in his films, like all the badasses he plays. You wouldn't think that he has a stammer.
Yeah, Steve Harvey.
Yeah, the video you sent, yeah. And now Elvis, obviously one of the biggest musicians ever. Some of his performances are next level. You wouldn't expect him to have a stammer, crazy. And obviously,
No, definitely not.
as much as we're not fans of the man, I swear when I looked this up before Joe Biden was on here, yeah. Although obviously
I saw something today when I was looking up the video I sent you. One of his came up as he is the first president to have a stutter or stammer.
As much as I'm not a fan of Joe Biden, fair play that he's a man who has this issue, and fair play to all these celebrities. Well, not issue, this speech issue. You know, fair play to all these celebrities that they've gone on and done these, you know, things. I mean, becoming president is a feat. I don't care what anyone says; it is a feat. Even if Joe Biden, even if I think he's an idiot, it's still a big feat, isn't it? So
yeah, and even the last king of England had one.
Yeah, so it gives
with
people.
King George VI.
Yeah, and the thing is, it gives people with stammers hope that, yeah, you know, just because I've got this stammer, these people, these actors, actresses, musicians, politicians have proven that you can have these brilliant speeches, brilliant moments, brilliant performances, even with the stammer. And the thing is, you've sort of proved it in a way. Obviously, it's not on as big a scale, but you prove that you performing as a doctor in the short films, you know, your stammer's hardly there.
Yeah.
When we were filming, the stammer was hardly there. The only time I noticed the stammer was when I said, George, this is the line. And then you weren't saying line. I said, George, this is the line. And then you were like, no, I'm trying to get the words out. That was the only thing that was close to the stammer. There was no, like, you know, there was nothing like that.
Yeah, that was more of a block, that one was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
so,
should we watch Steve Harvey's video? Oh, thank goodness.
Yes, I was about to say that, yeah.
I do want to do this.
And then we can do some games.
Mm-hmm. All right, then. Oops.
It's purely mental. And it's only because...
Right, is it actually or just mental?
Well, what did you say?
Is stammering actually or just, like, psychological?
I think. I don't know actually, to be honest.
I think
I
it's
think
a bit.
it might be. I think it might be a bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's something like, you know, when you break your leg. Well, obviously, if you're
Yeah.
unfortunate to break your leg, the leg can get better eventually if you do the rehab. I think that's what stammering's like. I think like it's
Yeah.
something that is, it's an issue, but then if you work hard enough, you can rehab it and get it better.
Yeah. I think you're right there.
It starts with the nervousness, and then after that, it's anticipation. When you stutter, and people know you stutter, when they talk to you like this. So, how are you today? And you see that, and it locks you up because you know they waiting on you to start this. Doing.
Well, that's like the worst stutters. Yeah, that's. But I guess he's got a severe stutter. Maybe that is how people spoke. Yeah.
And it locks you up. The way you is the person here that stutters. You. Here's the deal, man. You first of all, you start. Okay, let me ask you a question. When you read, do you stutter? No, I know you don't. When you read, you don't stutter. When you talk to yourself, do you stutter? No.
No.
It's only when you talk externally to other people.
Oh, maybe he's kind of right then, actually.
That's the whole key. It starts because you've built up an anxiety and a nervousness. So the way you cover stuttering is you stop eye contact with people. You cannot look at people. You have to talk within yourself. So I have little boys that come to my mentoring camp that stutter. I cure every last one of them little boys in my mentoring camp. I'd never let a little boy walk with my camp and still stutter. And I mean with really bad stutters. The last camp I had, the little boy, the mother came to me and said, if you could just help him from stutter. I said, just give me a boy. I got him on a Tuesday. Saturday, he gave the commencement speech at the graduation. This is how you overcome stutter. Whenever somebody talks to you, remove the tension, take the eye contact away. Go within yourself, say it to yourself twice, and then before you look up, answer the question, then look up. That's the drill I want you to do. I want you to do it in the mirror.
I'm going to try that.
I want you to do it with a close friend of yours, and that's all I want you to do. After a while, you'll only have to say it to yourself once. Then you look up. After a while, you'll be able to look at them, say it to yourself internally, then say it. That's it, man. That's it. It's nothing else.
I'm going to try that.
And you know how I know this? Because
I'll come back on the podcast and tell you if it has worked.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the second drill. This is how you do it. This is it. This is how you cure stuttering. It's nothing else. Staying away from the ST sounds, PR sounds, all that. No, man. It's just you. It's going within yourself. Now, ain't this the dude that I saw on the camera dancing? Yeah. See, you got an extroverted side. You just got to let it out. Next thing you do, tell yourself, I no longer stutter. Because it's mental. You got to say this to yourself all the time. And act like you're reading all your thoughts, because you don't stutter when you read and you don't stutter when you talk to yourself. So you got to get in that mirror and talk to yourself constantly, practice. I'm going to show you how to do it, man. By the end of the week, man, you could be free. Kid you not.
Bro, that was like, first off, I'm not trying to poo-poo the podcast, but bro, that was like the best articulation of stammering in 3 minutes. He said more in 3 minutes than we've said in this entire hour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to try that. I'm going to come back on this podcast after my day and tell you if that's worked.
And also, honestly, I want to hear him talk about stuff more, man, because he seems really on it. And that's just about one thing, stammering.
Definitely.
Imagine what he's talking about with other things. Like, that is masterful articulation in 3 minutes. So he has one of the best articulations of stammering, and then he gives you a technique on how to fix it. And the thing is, I was a bit 50-50. I was thinking, well, how's it mental? So many people have it. Why can other people just talk normally and other people can't? But that brilliant point of saying, do you stutter when you read? Do you stutter when you talk to yourself? No one does. So it must all be mental.
No.
So amazing points from him. And that was a great way to end
on the
stammer awareness with all the silliness and jokes, obviously, on a serious level.
So it's nice to keep it light-hearted, though. Really.
Yeah. On a serious note, PSA, just be respectful to people with stammers. Obviously, have a bit of a laugh. I know we go it to George a lot, but the E is more jokingly saying, like, I don't know, like Liam has, yes, Ben has, the agenda, Aaron has, have you noticed? Yeah. And I have, I don't know, I don't have a saying yet, but I can have the atmosphere, but that hasn't come well.
Are you
The
shouting, George, when I'm in the private, when I'm out of this chat, I'm doing stuff.
What do you mean?
Like when you kick me out and I'm doing stuff that only you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you guys obviously have the have your sayings. The E is sort of like more. It's about you trying to escape situations whimsically, and obviously Liam's yes is just him when he says when he's being really technical with answers, or when he's being overly technical with saying no to something. And Ben just Ben's agenda is when he when I wreck him politically, and then he goes and tries to grab at air to come with a point. And Aaron's just sometimes when he's like, I don't know, when he just sort of says something, it's just like, oh, okay. Obviously, you're user the main three with your sayings. So
yeah.
But yeah, on a serious note, just be respectful to people with the stammers. Let them say what they need to say. Just treat them in the interest of fairness. Treat them.
Just take your time when you're speaking to somebody who has one.
At the end of the day,
because they're a lot more common than what you think.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, who cares if someone says "I" a couple of times when they're trying to get their words out? Just let them speak. Just don't treat them differently. Don't say "So, how are you today?" Just be like, "All right, mate," or "How you doing?" or "Como estás?" or whatever you say to people. Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we go on to the segments?
I'm just glad we've done this, and so if you do have a stammer or you want to learn a bit more, you actually might learn something from us talking about it.
Yeah. All right then. So let's move on to new. So, as I say, this is the segment where we see. I just did that minor stammer then the segment.
Yeah.
Anyway, we this is the segment where I ask, would you do something for an amount of money? So, George, how much would we have to pay you to go back in time and run on the set of Doctor Who Series 4 and start shouting about how Doctor Who's the biggest load of shit ever? All right, 10 quid.
Could I make an edit to that?
No, it can't be season 13, no, if that's what you're going to ask.
I was going to go season 11.
No.
Actually, season 12.
It can't be the bad seasons, because I'm trying to think what's a bad season of a show I like. I don't know, like Simpsons after the movie, bloody Future, the worst Future episodes. Of course, you can say that'd be too easy running around 13. You do that for 3. You probably pay 10 quid to do it because your favourite show being ran into the ground. That's obviously something bad for you.
Yeah.
So it has to be series 4. 20 quid. Yes,
no. No, go up.
50 quid.
No.
100 quid.
Yes.
Oh, damn. I thought you'd go higher than that. Fair enough. I guess what he's saying, Doctor Who's a load of shit.
Well, what I'll do is I'll get David and Donna's and David and Kathy's signature and then say to them and then run off.
No. Well, fair enough. All right, so now on to job slobs. So the job slob for today is, what would you rather work as? Okay, so would you rather work as a janitor for Nintendo? So you're in like their main headquarters, but obviously you're just cleaning the shit out of the toilets, just basically cleaning everything up. And trust me, where I work, being a janitor, it obviously isn't that. It's probably not next level stressful, but it's annoying having to clean the shit out of the toilets, throwing away the occasional bit of mouldy food. Which, when there was mouldy food, it got sorted very quick. There was a big message going around saying, "Put your name and date on the food. If you don't do that, we're chucking your food away." So that was fair play, helping the cleaners. But shit in the toilets, water on the floor when people don't clean up the drops.
Yeah, sorry, that was me.
And those drops. Oh, you ran all the way to Birmingham to put mouldy food in the fridge.
No, I'm going to go to the toilet there.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's not a fun job. It's not fun at all.
No.
But again, in some aspects, you can argue maybe it beats having to deal with the public and being that thankless job. But some cleaners still do have to deal with the public because they're like, if you go in a hospital and you see a cleaner and you don't know where you're going, you might ask them where the bloody hell you need to go. You know, I know one cleaner in a hospital that happens to him quite a lot. When I used to wash cars, like people would say, "Oh, where do I go for this?" or "What's the mileage on this car?" And it's like, well, it's not my fucking job, but you're going to tell them anyway because you don't want to tell a customer to do one. Or the most annoying one was when the bloke who...
I was going to say, it's just nice to just help people out, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes I accidentally did nearly spray my hose at one person once who was asking me for help. I should have saved No, I should have saved this for a legit review. I might as well tell it now. Basically, this person said, because there's a petrol station next to the one place I wash cars, and the bloke at the petrol station always fucking locked the doors, which is... I get it, but it's a bit fucking stupid. Like, it's in a safe area, and he hasn't really got that much to rob anyway. His petrol station is quite dead arse. So, anyway, people had said... One person said, "Oh, is he open?" And I said, he's just gone upstairs. He'll be down in a second. And then when they were just looking at me, I accidentally turned the hose and then turned it off really quick. He didn't go on them. I just went... I went, "Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to do that, mate." And he was quite a tall, big bloke. So, but again, just because it's a tall, big bloke, I'm not fearful of massive geezers. At the end of the day, if they don't know how to throw a punch, jobs are good. But if they know what they're doing, I'm running the other way.
I think it's just a little bit of water.
True. Actually, no. To be fair, if I was if some massive geezer was coming at, if Tyson Fury was having a go at me, actually, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If he was going to fight,
he's throwing the face of water.
No. I'd stand my ground. Actually, I wouldn't run in the opposite direction. What's the point of cowering away? You've got to stand your ground and back yourself. Like when that woman stood up to Sauron in Lord of the Rings. She's only little compared to him, and he was massive, but she still stood her ground, which is far better than what they do in some films. Because the critical drinker, I know this is a complete tangent. I'll get back to the job slobs in a second, but the critical drinker did a video about a female protagonist being so strong and indestructible. And he used that Lord of the Rings comparison as a good, strong female character because she wasn't. There's no main character in Lord of the Rings. There's just a load of different characters. But they did a bad example of it where this little old woman was fighting this massive 6'7" bloke who was really, really muscly compared to her, and she beat him. And he said, "If this the issue is it takes, or you're not immersed in the film because it looks like silliness." If a little old woman's beating like Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, it looks ridiculous. It looks stupid. It doesn't look realistic. If she used weapons, fair play. But in an actual fist fight, she's not going to outmuscle a massive bloke. She's stupid. If they did that with
it's like if Hasbulla beat Arnold Schwarzenegger in a fight.
Imagine it'd be like, what the hell? Oh God. Unless they did a David and Goliath thing where Hasbulla threw a little stone at Arnold and he went, "Oh!"
Yeah. Just recreate the scene from Austin Powers when he's throwing Minnie across the room.
There you go, exactly. Easy work.
Oh! Because I've been sprung around. And then it's very helpful.
His limb's being strung around. What the hell?
No, if you look up Mini-Me versus Austin Powers fight scene, I'll show you.
No, I just want to get on with the segments now.
Right.
I might look it up in my own time. So
afterwards.
So would you rather be a cleaner at Nintendo's headquarters, so you're doing like the lowest paid job, clean up poo, all the stress and hassle, or would you rather be, I don't know, like a fairly credible game designer at Sony?
Oh,
That's difficult, isn't it? Because you love
that's
Nintendo.
a difficult one.
You love Nintendo, but you know you might be able to make some friends there and learn about the newest Kirby game, the insider leaks.
Yeah, and the newest Nintendo stuff as well.
Yeah, but with Sony, at least you'd actually be able to sort of, you know, I know they don't make the games themselves; they're just like they make the console. But let's say, oh bloody hell, Rockstar Games, then a credible game designer at Rockstar Games.
I wouldn't do Rockstar, but I would do the Sony one.
Oh, okay. So if it had been Sony, you wouldn't mind being like I don't know, helping them with, I don't know, publishing games.
Yeah, well, I'm making like the PS6 as well.
Yeah,
Seeing
that's
like
it.
the early development stuff of that.
And I think with you getting the PS5 at Christmas, you're going to become a PlayStation and a Nintendo person.
I am. I really am. I can't wait to get that. That Christmas can't come any quicker.
Yeah, it should be a good laugh. All of us playing some of the split screen games on your PlayStation as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you should get
And
some
I
story
said on that podcast that I went to the PS5 in our local Smith, so I was playing that for half an hour. You can just feel like the little vibrations all throughout the controller in different places.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should get some. I think you should get some of the exclusives, and we could like swap. You could play like you could play mission, then I could play mission of a game, or when I die, you take the control.
Definitely.
That'd be pretty good. We've got a war.
I'm getting Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Star Wars because I was watching that through Liam's stuff, and he convinced me to get that. So I'll get them too.
Nice.
I'll see about Final Fantasy 16 because it's just come out. So that and you were saying about it in chat.
Bro, that line. Did you watch the video?
Did
you watch the video I sent?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I just saw the little clips you sent.
No, I meant that. You know the clip where he's like, when that one character's like, when he's like, "The world you want is a fantasy," and he says, "The only fantasy."
Oh
here.
yeah. That's what I wanted. Yeah.
That was one of the coolest lines I've seen in any piece of media ever, because it's like how long have they been making games for? Final Fantasy games, 36 years or something stupid.
But yeah, 30 odd years, yeah.
And they're finally in Final Fantasy 16 say use Final Fantasy in a few lines. It just makes that moment seem so much more epic.
Yeah, it does. And the one I'll probably get is the Final Fantasy for the Security Breach, because in July we're getting the Ruin DLC, so that would be nice to have that. And that one at the moment, if you want that on PS5, it's only 30 quid.
I'm trying to find that line again though. Oh. Fantasy.
Yeah. I was going to say about the news, about the direct, but we've already been at.
The only fantasy is yours, and we shall be its final witness. Oh, God, one of the best lines in any piece of media.
It is.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah. So we talk about that news.
Yeah. Then we can do Pink MG bloke and George's junk after that. I just want to say, I'm guessing the first bit of news is Five Nights at Freddy's trailer.
Yes.
So I did watch it. Again, I'm not really into those sort of films. It's not my type of thing. It looks okay. I guess the tensions are quite high. That security guard seems very desperate. It seems a bit irresponsible to bring your kids to work on a night shift, but there you go.
Well, it's his sister, because his parents have died, it looks like.
Oh, it's his sister.
So they changed it a bit from what the games are like.
Okay, then I guess it makes sense. But he could get a babysitter
Yeah.
in. So I guess that ups the stakes because, like, his sister could be caught by them, and he's lost both his parents. He's got so much responsibility on his shoulders, and he's probably like, it makes sense that he's desperate for a job. Yeah.
Well, what it looks like is the animatronics want to make the kid like them, basically.
Yeah. Which is it's more scary than getting killed, really, because he might have to witness his sister being an evil animatronic.
Yeah. So
that'll just be fucking annoying and depressing.
yeah, I don't think they'll do that. But like, for me, waiting 8 or 9 years for this movie now, you can hear the bits of music which are from the games, some of the actual toys that they've sold over the years in it. And it's basically a complete recreation of the first game, basically. But then you get like William Afton in it, Springtrap and Golden Freddy in it as well. So like them little hints, and in like the background as well. On one of the shots, there's an employee of the month board with all different finance affairs YouTubers on it. And I don't know if you know who Corey Kenshin is.
I've heard of him.
But he was the cab driver
Okay.
at the end of the trailer.
Fair dues.
So it's just nice to see like the YouTube community who's built these games up for years be shown off and thanks for being put in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So next bit of news is there's 5 people dead.
What? Oh, Titanic. Oh.
Yeah, the Titanic thing. That submarine was found, and they went and joined the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole situation, obviously that crazy CEO, he actually nearly died a few years ago doing the same thing, but he managed to get back to the surface.
Yeah.
So it's like he was foolish enough to attempt it years ago and survived. He still attempted it since and survived everyone. Why is he still doing it now? Why hasn't he learned his lesson? But obviously, that was his final. That was his final destination. Really, that was his karma for doing it over and over and over again, and not. The thing is, if that is your dream and that is what you love, okay, you've survived a bad situation. Why not try and make it more safer? No, he just does the same thing over and over again. For some odd reason, expects a different result than he getting imploded.
Yeah, well, there's no escape hatch there.
Yeah,
they're completely locked in. I did find out as well. Mr. Beast had been asked to go on this submarine.
And thank goodness he said no.
And he said no, yeah. So I find it a shame with some aspects that have died. But if this guy's pushed his luck basically with how many times he's done it was going to happen someday.
Yeah, I mean, it is really sad because the one kid who's a 19-year-old. Well, he was a 19-year-old who died. He only went because his dad wanted him to go, and he wanted to do something fun, which is really just a shame. It's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I saw people basically say, well, he wasn't an adult anymore, so he should have said no to not going on there.
Well, I think you should say no in general. You should say no in general to stuff like that because that's dangerous AF, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really sad.
It's just a shame. Another thing as well, I can't remember his name, so I need you to go and find him for me.
What?
So,
is this a game of read my mind? What are you on about?
No. I'm going to tell you where you can find him. So go on iNabber's channel.
iNabber?
Yes. INABBER.
Okay.
Should be a ginger guy with glasses.
Which video is it?
Look for a guy with a nose ring and hair to the side. And I think his name's
Why?
Cypher or something.
Felix Cipher.
Felix Cypher, so yeah, so now look up Felix Cypher on Google and get him up.
What has this got to do with the Titanic?
No, this is a new topic now, a new bit of the news.
What? I don't even. He's an author.
It's more than that.
I don't even. I hope this isn't anything awful. Who's
Have you got his images up?
Influence. Wait, what? We're not George. This is.
What? What? What have you read?
What? Why?
That he thinks is a reincarnation of somebody else.
I didn't read that. I just thought because he was. They said he wore a certain coat. I don't want to talk about this. This is just pathetic stuff.
No, just show him because it's funny.
No, this is just for your edgy memeness. We skipped that. That's the end of the news for today. Now on to George.
If you want to know what I'm talking about, go and look up Felix Cypher on YouTube and TikTok.
No, I've just looked at the George's junk for today. Oh, this is brilliant. This is fantastic. All right, here we go. And so
that picture's still on there.
The Nissan. What picture?
If you off a little bit.
No, we'll leave that. The Nissan Micra. I mean, I don't even like this Nissan Micra anyway. It looks like an old woman's hair, to be honest. Big frizzy hair with those big wheels. I don't like this car anyway. So
all Micras are meant to be eco-friendly cars.
Meant to be what?
Eco-friendly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, nice. I mean, having the grass on it is probably a smidge of an improvement, but I still wouldn't have that. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Banana. I wouldn't mind driving that Ford. That Ford there.
No, not the Ford. We're focusing on the banana.
Yeah. No, again, because it just seems too dangerous and too risky. Would you drive either of these?
I'd drive that.
Would you drive either of these two?
I'd drive the banana boat.
And we've got Aaron's Citroen C3, well, one that looks very, well, the same make and model and colour. Yeah, I mean,
I thought it might have been like Aaron's, but it's not, no.
Oh, okay. What is it?
That's Cam's Corner's car.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll drive that any day of the week. Brilliant. That's probably the best one you've done.
So that gives me the question.
Would you drive Cam's Corner car?
Yes, I would do.
All right.
But
so let's move.
Have you ever seen Aaron and Callum in the same room? Could they be the same person?
Maybe. Anyway, let's move on to Pink MG bloke. So the first story is Pink stunned after woman's ashes thrown on stage. The floor is yours.
Sorry, say that again.
No, Pink stunned after woman's ashes thrown on stage. The floor is yours.
I'm guessing a lot of people swallowed whoever person that was then. Why? Did they know who the person was?
Is that what you've got to say about it then?
Well, I was just wondering who. Well, look, I can't really say a lot about it.
Fair enough.
Except for like, it's basically a dusty stage dive.
Anyway, that's fans have previously thrown gifts on stage for her for the latest item. Damn, Pink's 43. No,
Yeah.
shock.
Well,
I mean,
at least I can say, at least it wasn't the full body.
oh, for God's sake. Yeah, Pink's very good looking for 43. Pink was left stunned after a fan threw that. Oh, that's really sad. The singer was taken aback at Hard Pop Festival. In a video from the U43R hesitantly picking up the bag of human remains on stone stage. This is your mom. I don't know how to feel about this.
How does she taste?
Her fans also shared experiences during the concert. One fan writing, "It's my son's first concert, means a lot as he's got cerebral palsy and has worked hard with his surgeries and sync physio. He's been able to get up out of his wheelchair and have a dance with his sister who is on." Well, that's really wholesome. Fair play to the lad, all the respect in the world, and that he's pushed himself that much, because it must be a really difficult thing to deal with.
I wonder when he passes away if he'll be done to I don't know. It was a big single right now, Lizzo. Maybe his ashes will go to her. Are you still there?
What the hell was that? I mean, that. Anyway, I mean, it was a nice, wholesome story, and you said when he dies, he'll get his ashes thrown at Lizzo. Well, Lizzo's probably older than him, so
Yeah.
she's going to die and being as fat as she is, with all due respect.
Yeah, but if he's got cerebral palsy,
I thought you can still live for ages.
He'll
with
go
it,
before her.
No, but I thought you can still live for ages with it.
I don't know.
I thought you can.
Unlike the mother in this situation.
Oh, for God's sake, George! What? Anyway, mild cerebral palsy. I have 99% chance living to 20 years old. Whereas severe? 40% chance. It says between 30 and 70. So, yeah. Well, if he makes it to 70, or then if he's good enough to not, well, you know what I mean. If he's pushed himself,
He'll probably just go about make it to 30. I'm guessing.
Come on, have a bit of optimism, have a bit of faith. He's doing well now. He could make it to 60s. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, that was a bit too far. George saying when he dies, he'll have his ashes thrown at Lizzo. I don't really.
No, but who else really? Because Pink and Lizzo, they kind of look similar.
Pink's not as fat as Lizzo, is she? No.
No. But they're both women.
I mean, George, that was everything you just said. Then was the most torturous thing I've ever heard on the podcast. That was just like.
Well, you gave me this thing.
No. But you shouldn't be saying stuff like that goes that far. Anyway, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next story. Distant ancestor to pizza shown in 2,000-year-old paintings, but toppings are a little different.
Pizza.
Yeah, distant ancestor to pizza shown in 2,000-year-old painting, but toppings are a little different.
So it's basically bread with something else on it then. What in the world?
I mean, how long has bread existed for?
Bread's existed. I don't know. I'm guessing
10,000 years.
Bloody
hell. 10,000 years? Damn.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's around when like the Romans were about and things like that. So what was on there then?
Well, we'll get it up now for you, mate. Yes, you so.
I wonder
Amazing.
if it was the rest of the ashes. Just onto it.
The ruins of Pompeii, just 14 miles from Naples, where the traditional art of pizza has been granted by the UNESCO protection.
Right, so that different. Hang on, so those different toppings are just burnt dead people on top instead.
No. See, there you go. Nowhere to be seen. Here's the flat Croatia bread has been seasoned with spices instead. There you go. So it wasn't dead people. It
So
was
basically, just garlic bread without the cheese.
Well,
Well,
there
it's
you
just
go.
seasoned bread, isn't it? It's not really
Yeah, I mean
pizza.
the title sounded a lot more funny and out there than the story itself. Never mind.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's just sprinkled a little bit of that pink pasta on there.
Anyway, we'll end that one there then before George says anything else outlandish and outrageous and over the top. So we'll leave that there.
Yes.
So thank you all so much for watching. Anything you want to say, George? I mean, this is sort of your time, your podcast, sort of with the Stammer discussion.
I hope if you do have one, you've learned something, and if you wanted to learn a bit about him, I hope you've learned a little bit about that as well. And if you want to know what the news story was I was going to say, which James wouldn't allow, go and look up the guy that James said in the news bit. Because James did a recreation of what this guy looks like for a video of mine.
What do you mean as doing a recreation?
Yeah. For that one.
Oh.
Yeah, because I saw you change my name. I was going to do something else then. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this little podcast, and we will see you in my final episode.
What are you on about?
Of the podcast.
Oh, is there something special going to be the last one you ever do? Damn.
Well, we did talk about this in the private chat before.
Yeah.
So this might be my final episode of the podcast. Well, next week might be my final episode.
Well, it might not be next week. It might be it'll probably be after that.
The week after.
Aaron and Liam and Ben.
As long as it's not before the 9th, that's fine.
It might be after that, so it might your retirement.
I might not be in it, then this might be my final podcast.
There you go, George. All right then. Well, that's it then. See you later, everyone. Peace.